Hi BookTube, this is my weekly wrap-up for the week ending May the 5th.
I got my ticket for the long way round. 2 bottle whiskey for the way.
You can probably tell I'm not at home. I am visiting at the beach. I love the beach. And in fact, a couple of the books I read this past week were set at a beach. I had a nice, relaxing week of new adult contemporary that I thoroughly enjoyed. I had been reading some children's fantasy, including Harry Potter, and I haven't given up on that yet, but I've kind of set it to the side because I just wasn't in the mood for it. You know, what can you do when you're not in the mood for something? To force yourself to read it is just no fun at all. I read a couple of Abbi Glines books. Those were Fallen Too Far and Twisted Perfection. Those are books 1 and 3 in the Rosemary Beach series, and I love Abbi Glines for just a light romantic read. She's the new adult contemporary version of Sarah Dessen, and I really enjoy her because it's never a very complicated story. It's always, you know, characters that you really like and that you want to see overcome the differences that are keeping them apart. So that was a lot of fun. I gave each of those 3 stars. I moved on from that to Falling Into You by Jasinda Wilder. This is book 1 in the Falling Into series, and it was a lot darker. It dealt with issues of grief and abandonment and trying to get over whose fault it is, feeling guilty, that sort of thing. It's about a girl who loses the love of her life when they're about 18, and then it picks up the story then about 2 years later when she gets involved with this guy's older brother. So very interesting story and really good look at overcoming grief. Not a really realistic look at it. I think this was not a study in psychology by any means, but it was good. I really did enjoy it. I will say that it tended to be a little more graphic on the heavier, more graphic, more heavier social issues side of new adult than Abbi Glines. I went from there to a book I got from NetGalley called Delectable, and that's by Adrienne Lee. That is book 1 in the Big Sky Pie series, I think it's called, and it's an adult romance, which, I don't know, I just didn't care for it. It really was not my thing. It was just a couple who had been married and were getting divorced, and they were in Montana, and pie shop gets involved, and it was just, you know, whatever. I don't know. I think it's that it wasn't a very realistic look at a marriage falling apart and then being able to be put back together. It just wasn't realistic. It was complete fiction on every level, and I just didn't care for it. Then I read Uncharted, which is a novella by Tracey Garvis Graves, and that is kind of book 1.5 in the On the Island series. I don't know if she's going to go further with that series. She might, but that follows another character within that series that we really didn't know anything about On the Island. And it's about a deserted island, a guy who just wants to get away from it all, and he goes and spends some time, I think it's about a month or maybe 2, on a deserted island in the Maldives. And interesting story, and she tied it in nicely with the original story, which was On the Island, which was a very, very good story. Kind of about survival and romance, and yeah, it was just good. So that was my week. Again, I'm not going to pull anything out of my TBR jar. I did bring a book with me to read from my shelf. I don't have it right here with me, but it's called Mystic City. It's by Theo Lawrence. And I'm going to keep on with Harry Potter and the Enchanted Chronicles, and then I also finished a couple of other books on the way down here on my long drive. So I will tell you about those next week. And I will see you again on Friday with Friday Reads. So till then, thanks for watching.
I'm gone. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. You're gonna miss me by my walk. You're gonna miss me by my talk. Oh, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone.